I'm just making sure we're recording now. Yep. And then, sorry, just bear with me a second. Stop. Make host, make co-host. I can't. I'm gonna make you a co-host.
Sounds good.
And see if you can then share.
And just noting for the benefit of the record, although the recording was not turned on, it looks like we do have a couple note takers that were in attendance.
Yeah,
so we definitely don't have to try to recreate that part of the meeting.
I think you have to stop sharing your own screen for me to be able to share. That might be the
problem. Nice there picture. It is. It's on the other screen. I didn't even see the stop share thing. I assumed hitting the share button would bring up that option, but pardon me. All right, you should be outside now.
Let me know if you can and when you can see it.
See it.
Amazing. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jason, for kicking me off as the special guest. I'm very excited to be here. My name is Claire Morehouse, and I am the ADU coordinator for EUHLC. And tonight we're going to be talking about ADUs, and we're going to very briefly touch on some resources, best practices, and new initiatives, and then get into some Q&A. So I just introduced myself, but my name is Claire, and then we also have Roy Montoya on the call, who's counsel for UHLC, and he'll help me field all of your questions. Here's what we're going to be covering. I think I can breeze through this. So first, key highlights. So as many of you likely know, prior to the passage of the Affordable Homes Act, there was various ADU bylaws across the Commonwealth. Many municipalities had their own ADU bylaw with various types of restrictions, but as a whole, Massachusetts saw limited new ADU units. So in order to jumpstart development, with the passage of the Affordable Homes Act, ADUs are now allowed by right in all single-family zoning districts across the Commonwealth under 900 square feet. These are coined as protected use ADUs in HLC's ADU regulations, and those regulations and the statute went into full effect on February 2nd of this year. The ADU regulations were also, as a part of this, added to Section 3 of the Zoning Act, also known colloquially as the Dover Amendment. And this means that ADUs are now protected, like other uses that are also protected under Dover, like religious uses, educational uses, solar. So ADUs are now added to that list and afforded Dover protections. As I said, ADUs are now by right in all single-family zoning districts, which are defined in our regulations. This means any district where single-family homes are allowed by right or special permit, regardless of how it is named. So in all those zoning districts, ADUs are by right. And lastly, principal dwelling is also defined in our regulations, and this includes any structure with the dwelling unit in a single-family zoning district. So this doesn't just have to be single family, it could be duplexes, triple deckers, for example, multi-unit structures. So it can be all of those things. And then we also include this lovely diagram to demonstrate that ADUs can also take many different forms. It's not just your classic backyard ADU, although we love those, but it could be an attached interior, above garage unit, interior. Here are some other brief highlights of the ADU law. So municipalities can reasonably regulate ADUs, including imposing dimensional standards. However, the regulations stipulate that those dimensional standards cannot be more restrictive than for a single family home, the type of principal dwelling on the lot, or accessory structure, whichever is more permissive for each of these standards. And then short-term rentals is also clear. It's very clear in the statute and the regulations that this is a municipal choice whether or not municipalities want to prohibit short-term rentals for protected use ADUs. So that's up to the municipality, and nothing in the regulations supersedes Chapter 64G, which governs short-term rentals. And then for all pre-existing ADUs, basically, if an ADU meets if a pre-existing ADU meets the definition of a protected use ADU in the regulations, any prior conditions, restrictions that are now found unreasonable or prohibited by the regulations cannot be continued. So, for example, if it was permitted under a previous ADU bylaw where there was an owner occupancy requirement, that prior condition cannot be continued. And then finally, we wanted to highlight address assignment because it's very important for safety reasons, and it's a question we get often. And so all ADUs shall be assigned an address consistent with the most current address standards published by MassGIS, and you can find those standards on our website, which I will link at the end of this presentation. Best practices, you may already be aware, but we want to keep highlighting it. The model zoning for accessory dwelling units that HLC put out in conjunction with MAPC's help. And this model zoning is a great tool for all municipalities to use who are choosing to align or update or amend, pass a new ADU bylaw. And so we encourage you to check this out because it has really great different aspects to consider when you're writing your bylaws. It has do's, I think be cautious, don't, instructions. So it's a great guidebook, and it also has a checklist. So I encourage you all to check that out. And then as a best practice, we are also encouraging all municipalities to take a look at all your bylaws and to see if there's anything that may conflict with the new ADU law and regulation. We have gotten some interesting questions from different cities and towns over, I have this site plan review process, or I have this density calculation, etc. Like, how does that work or impact with the new regulatory landscape? So we encourage you all to consider those, and you're welcome to reach out to HLC or reach out to the Attorney General's office if you are writing a bylaw for a pre-review as well, because they are also very helpful and knowledgeable on the new law and regs. We also wanted to highlight all the new FAQs that we have answered so far. I think we're over 40 FAQs now on our website, and we continue to work on new ones. Some highlights here are obviously short-term rentals. We get the bedroom question a lot, minimum lot size, manufactured housing, separate or common utility connections. And then we also have some information on HOAs, for example, and as well as other training opportunities for folks, property owners, to check out. Alrighty, we wanted to highlight these for you all as well. We have a joint webinar that we pre-recorded with MassDEP that we're currently working on editing, and we hope to post very, very soon to our website. In addition, we have a full ADU law and regulation pre-recorded webinar. So I just covered some highlights tonight, but if you're looking at a portion of the regulations and you'd like to hear what we have to say about it, please check out that recording. We also have a YouTube recording when we presented on the model zoning. So if you're using that resource, please check that out. And then we've also posted our slides from CPTC last spring. And then we also wanted to highlight these new cool initiatives we're working on. So actually the secretary did a pre-announcement today on and pre-announcement sounds funny, but he sort of teased that we have an ADU design challenge coming when he was presenting at the Boston Society of Architects this morning's housing symposium. So we can start to talk about this, which is very exciting. And it's more details to come, but the goal of the challenge will be to spread awareness about ADUs, inspire ADU development, and of course, lower design costs, particularly pre-development costs when it comes to ADU development. And then also very exciting, I'm sure you may all receive questions on financing for ADUs. I receive a lot of questions on financing for ADUs. And we do have some money coming, which is really exciting. So there's $5 million announced for fiscal year 2026, and then fiscal year 2027 as well. So $10 million in total. And those funds will go to support ADU pre-development and development costs. We're still working on program design in conjunction with Massachusetts Housing Partnership, who we put out a notice of intent to run this program. So please look out for more details. And finally, on the topic of data collection, so HLC put out a survey this past summer, and it went out to all building officials across the state, and we got pretty good response rate. I mean, for a higher response rate next round, but it's pretty good for the first time ever sending out this survey. And we got results for how many ADUs there have been applications for and certificates of occupancy for the first half of the year. And we're excited to report that there were over 800 applications, as well as you can go and look at the breakdown of attached versus interior versus detached. And it was about half of applications for attached interior versus detached. So all of that data is on our website. You can download it in Excel format and look in depth. But we're going to continue to collect this data and learn about how this new regulatory landscape and statute have been unlocking ADUs across the Commonwealth, and we're very excited. So finally, here is my information, claire.morehouse@mass.gov. If you come up with any questions after this presentation, please reach out to me. I try to get back to you as soon as possible. And then, of course, go to our website where we will be continuing updating our FAQs, any news on this new financing program, the design challenge, all of that stuff is going to live there. So thank you so much, and happy to take questions now. Karen?
Thank you. On the zoning district, you say it's single family zoning districts. Does that mean if you have a commercial district that allows single family that you can also do it there?
Correct. As long
Okay.
it doesn't matter what the zoning district is called, but as long as single family is either by right or by special permit,
Okay.
it also means ADUs are by right there as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Excuse me, any additional questions?
Yeah, Alan Pease here. Can you give us information on the address requirements for ADUs?
Yes. Let me try to pop that link in the chat for you. I haven't looked at these in a little bit, so I hope you'll forgive me for not going into a lot of detail. But if you go to this, it actually breaks down exactly how to label the ADUs in a very specific way. And that is for both data collection purposes as well as for safety reasons, like, so, if there's a fire, for example, they can easily find that and know that there's an ADU on a property, because often, especially for internal ADUs, for example, it's not obvious that there might be another person on the property. So it's very important to follow the MassGIS addressing standards. Sorry, I'm terrible at multitasking, but let me get those for you. Here it is. Yeah, so I would follow that link, and it's very thorough in explaining exactly how to address these new units. Does that answer your question fully?
I think so. Once I can find the link on this list, it seems to constantly move, but
Sounds good. I put it in the chat, so.
yeah. There
Brian?
we go. I
you
found
done?
it. I found it. Okay, great.
No
I
problem.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian?
Yeah, so we passed an ADU amendment in the spring, and it took a little while, and then now it actually just came in today, approved by the Attorney General's office. But we had a couple of questions coming because we've had a few applications come in. So if we wanted to limit the amount of detached ADUs that could be allowed. And so we either your first ADU in a single family residence can either be attached or detached. But any second ADU, any second detached ADU would need to be a special permit. Is that allowable?
Yes, and not only is it allowable, it's actually required by the ADU regulations. So the first ADU is by right, and we're talking about a protected use ADU, so meeting the
Protected,
definition of a
right.
protected use ADU. For that second ADU, it actually requires that it must be by a special permit. Yeah, but it's up to you whether. Go ahead, Roy.
Claire, I'm Roy. I'm one of the lawyers with EOHLC. I think your question is whether you can limit the number of detached ADUs on a
Right.
lot. You cannot with regard to a protected use ADU. It's defined as an attached or detached ADU. When someone wants to build one by right, they can choose.
Right.
You can restrict any future ADUs that are not protected use. But if you, for example, someone has an ADU that is not a protected use ADU for some reason already, for whatever reason, and that's detached.
Mhm.
You just can't prevent the protected use ADU from
Right.
being
Okay.
detached.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But we can limit the number of detached ADUs if there's already one protected ADU on site already on the property.
Yeah, I mean, your best bet is to always require special permit ADUs, things that aren't protected use, to be attached. You have the right to do that. Yeah.
I'm sorry, to always the local use ADUs to be attached.
Right. Because if someone builds a local use ADU that's detached, you
Yeah.
can't stop them from building a second detached ADU if it's protected use.
Oh, okay.
If the local use comes first,
Yeah.
you're going to end up with two detached ADU, and someone wants to build them, you're going to end up with two of them. Because the protected use ADU, you can't restrict.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Any additional questions? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight. I know even coming from Hubbardston, where we've been somewhat challenged engaging in some of the more progressive housing initiatives, the ADUs have been super popular. It's been one of the most popular issues we put in front of the town. So
That's
we
great.
definitely appreciate what you're doing here.
Yeah, and thank you so much. And I pop my email in the chat, and I'll do one last plug. We're also always looking for EDU stories, at least our comms department is, and they're actually the lieutenant governor is doing a whole Instagram series on ADUs and speaking to property owners. So you can also feel free to reach out to me if you have any property owners that would love to get highlighted by the state after doing a great ADU development project. So, well, thank you all so much, and have a great night and rest of your meeting.
Good night.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so moving forward on the agenda, we're returning back to our regular order. So we have the reading of the warrant for the cash schedule. Do we have Mr. Schwartz? And would you do us the honors, please?
I don't believe he's in here.
I was about to say, I'm scrolling down the list. I don't believe we have him today. All right. In that case, do we have somebody who's on a large screen that would like to read the key items in the warrant for us?
Oh, how about Mr. Chair? How about Tracy, our fiscal director? Tracy, can you summarize? This is your work. So I think the
Sure.
commissioners need to know you too. Okay.
Sure.
Thanks.
Good evening, everybody. I can't. I actually am trying to move it and I can't. The beginning balance from last month was 681,595.41. Our cash receipts this month were from the EPA Brownfield program for $28,431.18. Harvard had us do a little bit of GIS work for $168. The Westminster Master Plan invoice 3 for $33,012.47. The Shirley assessment came in at $3,074.36. Mass DOT for the month of September, $85,383.46. World Insurance and overpayment came back for $14,274.60. And then we got 3 months of payments for the revolving loan fund for the brownfield loan of $9,597.42. Other items I would transfer checking to debit $2,000. Interest on all the accounts for the month of October was $242.14. That brings the total receipts for this month, the receipts we received this month at $176,183.63, bringing the cash on hand at $857,779.04. Jason, if you can just go down a little bit more because I don't have it in front of me. And then cash disbursements for the month of October were $266,089.33, bringing our balance down to $591,689.71. I don't know. Can you need a?
I believe that's sufficient. Any questions from the commission? If there's no questions, can I get a motion to accept the warrant?
Guy Corpusero move to accept the warrant, subject to audit.
Yeah,
Excellent. Thank you.
Yeah, Cunningham, I'll second that.
Thank you very much. Any additional discussion? All right, hearing none, I'm calling a vote by roll.
Alan Pease,
Aye.
Christopher Monroe,
Monroe, aye.
Peter Cunningham,
Yeah, Cunningham, aye.
Dean Valier,
Valier, aye.
Doug Thornton, Doug, you're muted. Maybe we'll come back to you in a second. Guy Corpusero,
Aye.
Mary Jo Bohart,
Aye.
Ryan Keating,
Aye.
Thomas Russo,
Aye.
and coming back to Doug Thornton. Did I miss anyone?
All right, are there any commissioners not called or heard on the matter? All right, the motion carries. So moving forward on the agenda, we're skipping past the guest speaker because we've just done that, and we already handled announcements and questions. So moving into administrative matters, turning it over to Mr. Eden.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. And I'm going to invite Karen and Jason to add some information on federal government shutdown potential impact on MRPC, because I wrote this with the intention of talking about funding and some human resources that aren't available to us, but they had a couple of good points and they emailed me today or Teams me or both. So very, very quickly, at the very beginning of the shutdown on October 1st, the EDA staff, employees who were furloughed, our EDR, our economic development representative, Deb Bevan, was furloughed. Our EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, staff person was furloughed about 2 weeks later. So now we don't have contacts on a day-to-day basis until the federal government reopens and those staff are back at their desks. So the first bullet, I talk about any adverse effects. I'm gonna go through these very quickly and then ask Karen and Jason to talk because they had a couple legitimate concerns. We do, on a financial point of view, in the second bullet, we haven't seen any, here's the bottom line. As far as when it comes to money, for drawing down money to reimburse us for our services, to pay the staff for their time. So far, no issues with MassDOT. So far, no issues with the EPA brownfields. You saw in the cash schedule that Tracy just summarized. We actually got a drawdown from the federal government for brownfields work that we've been doing, the staff's been doing for the last 6 months. So that's a good thing. The EDA has its own portal, Economic Development Grants Services, or it's called EDGE anyway. And EDGE, Economic Grants Experience, it's in the middle of that next bullet. That's not operable, so we can't bill for services. On the plus side, the EDA was late in getting us a contract that should have started, and we should have had a contract April 1 of this year. We received that September 19, but they backdated it to April 1. But we hadn't charged any time to it, so there's really nothing to bill. So there's no real adverse impact financially yet. I mean, if they shut down for another month or two, which I really don't see, bluntly, I don't see this going back past Thanksgiving, but stranger things have happened in the universe that ideally, when they get back to their desks, we'll be able to bill for services, charge time, and so on and so forth. Jason, could you scroll down beyond the EPA bullet? That's just a screenshot showing that the EDA's EDGE system isn't working as of right now. And that's just the rest that I've been learning by going to Tremont Strategies Group meetings and AGO's office meetings. The AGO, Mass AGO, has basically said, look, there are about $3.04 billion in federal funds that the federal government put halts on for a variety of programs. So Mass Attorney General and other states' attorneys general have been suing the federal government. It's all in the news. I won't go into it. I'm not qualified to do so, but basically the Massachusetts AGO has saved $3.012 billion out of that 3.4, and I believe they're litigating on the difference between those two numbers. And then you can see some other programs that have been cut there that you can see in the news. Karen and Jason, I turn over to you anecdotally about data, so please feel free to chime in on this before we move on, and thank you for that.
Yeah, we've been working on planners in my department have been working on several plans, open space and recreation, housing plans, master plans. And when the government shut down, so did the census website. And so we're not able to get any new data at this time. We have most of the FY23 data downloaded already before there was a shutdown. But just moving forward, we don't know what the state of that data is going to be in, even when they reopen, because of all the lost people that collect that data.
Yeah, my comment was just echoing Karen's in that anytime anybody's asking us for federal data sets, they're very difficult, if not impossible to find. So at least on the federal government websites, so we have to sort of, delve deep into Google to find some people who have grabbed the data or published it in some version and things like that. So, Peter?
Yeah, thank you. I mean, we've had an issue. We have as it relates to the EPA, we have a brownfields project we're working on, and it requires EPA, I guess, evaluation of the plan for remediation, and that's not happening now because EPA staff is I guess they're furloughed, they're not around. So that's been an issue for us in trying to get the site cleaned up, which has been ongoing for quite some time. But we're beholden to the whims of what's going on in Washington, I guess.
All right, any additional discussion on that item? All right, moving forward to 6.2.
Mr. Chairman, so this is on because I think the state legislature is actually getting close to seeing this legislation in the House and Senate, leaving the Senate Ways and Means and the House Ways and Means in this session. We'll see if that actually happens. And I have to amend that last statement. I issued a brief letter to the senators and reps. I actually wrote the letters today, but I have to send them out tomorrow. So I didn't hit the send button yet. So I want to amend that for the record, Holly, that we'll amend that last sentence so that they've been drafted, written, and ready. I need to polish them tomorrow and send them out. So I'm a day behind on that. That's all I have on that. And so it's well, the next 5 months or 4 months is audit season. So we've had Roland Lambalot, CPA, as our auditor for at least 25 years, and he retired. He advised management to reach out to Grassi Advisors. We've had Holly and I had a conversation with Mary Linsky, CPA and partner at Grassi, about 6-8 weeks ago. We had then a follow-up meeting with Tracy, Holly, and myself probably 3 weeks ago. I asked Mary for, we talked to Christopher, our chairman, about this about 10 days ago, and concerning procurement and then engaging this firm. This firm is basically picking up a lot of the work, if not all the work, that Roland Lambalot was doing in the Commonwealth. Roland was doing audits for about 5 regional planning agencies and several regional transit authorities. I don't know the number of RTAs. So basically there's been a shift. He retired and another, not consulting, another audit firm, CPA firm has picked up his client list pretty much. So after the meetings we had with Grassi and we talked to Christopher, also, we're very comfortable with moving forward with Grassi. There's a statement in here that basically, let's see if you can go down, I'm sorry, please, Jason, to the top of the next page. And we talk a little bit about the budget. So when I was talking about this with Holly and Christopher McNamara, when we were creating the budget for FY26 for the line item to pay the auditor, Christopher advised us to pay to budget for about 30 grand. We had been paying up to 16,000 for about 2 decades. Here's the long story short. Roland had low overhead, and a firm with a lot of accountants and a bigger office has a lot more overhead. And Roland was basically charging us below what other accountants did for the last 30 years. So we've been very fortunate in the past, and now we're basically looking at market rate. So the numbers don't scare me as far as procurement goes. And we did talk to Christopher about this, Holly, myself. So 30B exempts the hiring of lawyers and accountants, but you still want to get, do some due diligence and make sure they're qualified to do the job. At the top of that page, at the bottom of the next page, I just give a citation. Dangerous for a non-attorney to give a citation of a law, so I always give that disclaimer. But I hope I did it well enough. Attorney Monroe, Chairman Monroe. So the gist here is the resolution is to authorize management to engage Grassi advisors to complete the agency's FY25 audit based on the information presented above, i.e. for the $30,000 cost that we budgeted for the year. Last thing I'll say on that is that we did receive an engagement letter. In that engagement letter, there are 3 payments of 10 grand each. I'm sorry, it's management weeds. If you want me to shut up, I will. But the bottom line is $10,000 on the $10,000 fee to get them going when you sign the letter. About $10,000, about 50% of the way in, and then the final 10,000 when they actually present the audit. They get the final. So that's how the payments work, and that's all I really have to say about hiring Grassi. So thank you for your time on this presentation.
All right, I'd like to open it up to questions from the commission.
Yeah, question for me. Yeah, just quickly, Glenn, were there any other firms, I guess, vetted that might have been able to do this work?
No. In this case, we took Roland Lambalot's suggestion. He felt that this is the company that would do the best job for us. In Mary Linsky's words, when we met with her, Roland said that this is a well-managed RPA and that we'd be a good client and they're a good fit for us and we for them. I did, so that as far as vetting, I did email Janet Pierce. She runs the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission. They're doing the same thing. I got word back from her. She wasn't out hunting today, so I got word back from her today that she said they're also hiring Grassi advisors. as are several others that I don't know who's hiring Grassy. So that's the vetting I did. I'm basically taking Roland's advice. Janet's hiring as well. We have a lot of good communication with Janet. We bounce a lot of things off of each other. That's what I did. The commissioners have a path on the road. You can not do this tonight, and you can tell me to go do some more vetting and find out some more stuff, and then we bring this back in December, or you can take the vote tonight. So from my point of view, my title isn't pushing this. I'm just saying this is my due diligence so far. Would you like to proceed? If so, fantastic. If not, we'll see you in December. You let me know what you want to do, please.
Yeah, I would
All
say,
right.
no, I think I'm comfortable, certainly. I think it sounds like it's a highly specialized. There are only so many, firms that actually do this type of work working with, RPAs and RTAs. So,
Yeah.
and you have met with them and feel comfortable. So I'm comfortable with that. I just
Yeah.
had asked the question because typically it's good to get some,
Yeah.
some feedback about what else
Yes.
is out there in the marketplace.
Well, that's the question that always needs to be asked. You shouldn't let management run off half-cocked. And I thank you for asking that question, because we make presentations and we need you. You are our sounding boards. You are our policy approval entity people. You're the board of overseers. You let us know if we're going down the right path or not. And so, Peter, thank you for asking that. I deeply appreciate that.
And just for the information of the commission, when we were discussing whether or not to put this on the agenda, the thing that pushed me towards this being ready to go on the agenda is the fact that there are only so many RPAs in Massachusetts, and this is a firm that is currently representing multiple ones, and that appears to be something that is unique.
Yeah.
We are unique. Mr. Chairman, through Mr. Cunningham, I don't know if Mr. Cunningham's cat has any questions, but I think I'm all set with
He's just
my report
she's fine with it. She's comfortable. So
okay. My report is done.
and the cat gives it its approval.
And any additional questions from the commission? All right, hearing none, would somebody like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. Be it resolved, the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission will engage Grassy Advisors to complete the agency's FY25 audit based on information presented this evening.
All right, hearing a first, do we have a second?
Second, Alan Pease.
All right, thank you. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'm calling a vote by roll.
Alan Pease,
Aye.
Christopher Monroe,
Monroe, aye.
Peter Cunningham,
Yeah, Cunningham, aye.
Ian Valier,
Valier, aye.
Doug Thornton, Guy Corbsero,
Aye.
Mary Jo Bohart,
Mary Jo Bohart, aye.
Brian Keating,
Keating, aye.
Thomas Russo.
Russo, aye.
I believe that's all.
All right, are
Excuse
there
me,
any
Jason.
Yep.
Jason, we had Kyle Nardowitz join us.
Oh, I did not see that. Kyle Nardowitz.
I vote aye.
All right, are there any commissioners not called or heard on the issue? All right, the motion carries. Moving forward into 6.4, we have an item for a proposed budget amendment. Mr. Eden.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to turn both of these items for two line item increases. These are for tech and to help us be more efficient in our use of technology by the employees. So I want to turn this over to Mr. Stanton, our GIS and IT director. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I am not going to read this verbatim unless you want me to, but essentially we've been with Civic Plus for a long time now, so we're renewing our services with them. The annual subscription cost for this year is $3,350.49, which is an increase of about $150 from last year. We are also proposing to add a tool called Audio Eye, which is an accessibility and digital inclusion tool that will allow us to be in compliance with the Department of Justice's final rule updating its regulation for Title II of the Americans with Disabilities Act And this would be ahead of the pending deadlines of July 26th and July 27th, depending on, community sizes and entity sizes. The audio eye is an additional $2,500, something that we did not foresee when we were working through the budget earlier. So we are requesting an increase of $2,659.54 to cover the increased costs of the base cost and also the audio eye. So we're adding that to the current $25,000 budget to bring that line item to a total of $27,659.54. Any questions?
All right, thank you. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Guy Corbisiero, I move the motion as printed.
All right, thank you. Do we have a second?
Alan Pease, second.
Hearing a first and a second. Any discussion? All right, calling a vote by roll.
Alan Pease,
Aye.
Christopher Monroe,
Aye.
Peter Cunningham,
Yeah, Cunningham, aye.
Dean Valier,
Valier, aye.
Doug Thornton, Guy Corbisiero,
Corbisiero, aye.
Mary Jo Bohart,
Mary Jo Bohart, aye.
Brian Keating,
Aye.
Thomas Russo,
Russo, aye.
and Kyle Nardowitz.
Aye.
Are there any commissioners that have not been called or recognized on this issue? All right, the motion carries on to 642.
Okay, so we are looking to increase, as Glenn calls it, the size of our pipe for the internet. We haven't upgraded this in a while. It's been a few years. So I reached out to New Horizon Communications, who's a wholesaler of Verizon Fios fiber internet. And the cost to increase our services from 150 megabyte upload and download to 1 gig upload and download was astonishingly cheap. And so I think it was about $80 a month. So we are looking to increase our speeds about 7-fold for about $80 a month. So that would bring us to increase that line item about $1,000 from $7,712.52 to $8,712.52.
All right, any questions from the commission? All right, hear none. Would somebody like to make a motion?
Russo, so moved.
Excellent. Do we have a second?
Alan Pease, second.
Excellent. Any additional discussion? Hearing none, I'm calling a vote by roll.
Alan Pease,
Aye.
Christopher Monroe,
Monroe, aye.
Peter Cunningham,
Yeah, Cunningham, aye.
Dean Valier,
Valier, aye.
Doug Thornton, Guy Corbisiero, we'll come back to Guy, Mary Jo Bohart,
Mary Jo Bohart, aye.
Brian Keating,
Keating, aye.
Thomas Russo,
Tom Russo, aye.
Kyle Nardowitz,
Aye.
and circling back to Guy Corbisiero.
Corbisiero out of the fridge, aye.
I believe that's it.
All right, thank you. Are there any commissioners not called or heard on the issue? All right, the motion carries. On to 6.5.
Mr. Chairman, very, very briefly. So I want to get into the habit of being more proactive and putting the lunch and learns that happen on the 3rd or 4th Wednesdays of the month. I want to try to get them on this meeting. the first or second Thursday of the month, so you have more notice. The bottom line is, there's the registration link and QR code. Jason, can you scroll down just a bit? I did a draft agenda. Thank you, Jason, for throwing that on the mrpc.org website. And that's it. So we'll look for this not during Thanksgiving week. Jason, can you scroll back up? I forgot the date. November 19th. The following Thursday will be Thanksgiving. So I certainly don't want to do it on the 26th, the day before Thanksgiving. So there it is. And I'm done with the reports. Thank you for your time, all.
All right, thank you. Moving forward into the department updates, starting with GIS. Any updates from GIS?
No GIS updates at this time.
Thank you. Moving forward to planning and development. Any updates from planning and development?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. No updates.
All right, thank you. Moving on to transit and transportation.
Likewise for transportation, no updates this month. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Sounds like it's been a little bit of a boring month.
I think that might be the first time ever that we have never had updates on all three of us at the same time.
Yeah, I believe that to be a fair statement. Before we move off of this onto the next item, are there any questions from any of the commissioners for any of the departments on either their update or lack of update? All right, moving forward into to new business. We don't have any that came up shortly before, but do we have any new items that any commissioners would like to add to discussion? All right, anything from anybody?
It was a hell of a World Series.
Yeah.
But that's
no kidding. Oh, I did want to ask one question, and I suppose this actually goes to Karen. We saw the letter that went out. Do you know if there have been any updates to what's going on with what is it, DEOR, and what their process has been or is becoming?
No update. We haven't heard anything since the deadline passed for comments. Well, there's a whole bunch of new, they're adding new documents every week, it seems like, and each of those documents are going to have comment periods. So if you want to go to the website for that, you can read all of that.
All right.
But they're supposed to be coming out, I think, in December with the draft final regulations for the siting.
All right, excellent. Thank you for the update. All right, well, if nobody has anything else under new business, let's move forward to item 9. So the date of the next meeting is Thursday, December 4th at 7 p.m. And with that said, would somebody like to make a motion to adjourn?
Guy Corbacero, I move to adjourn.
And hearing a motion, do we have a second?
Yeah, Cunningham second.
All right, this motion is non-debatable. Instead of calling it as a roll, I will instead ask if there are any objections. All right, the motion carries and we are adjourned at 7:53 p.m. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out and attending the meeting this evening and all of the time that you spend donating your time to your towns and to MRPC. So thank you all very much.
Yeah.
And thank you to the staff.
Have a good night, everyone.